France's narrow escape in World War I, 1914. At the start of World War I, Germany launched a lightning offensive through Belgium and nearly captured Paris. The French army was on the brink of defeat. During the First Battle of the Marne, French commander Joseph Joffre used a Paris taxi to rush troops to the front lines. This unusual maneuver stopped the German advance. Had the Battle of the Marne been lost, France might have capitulated in the first months of the war, which would have completely changed the course of history. The almost lost Mona Lisa, 1911. In 1911, Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting was stolen from the Louvre. The search for the painting lasted 2 years, and the chances of getting it back were minimal. The Italian thief Vincenzo Peruggia tried to sell the Mona Lisa to an antique dealer in Florence. The dealer immediately informed the authorities, and the painting was returned to France. If it had not been found, the Mona Lisa might still be unknown to the general public today. The almost vanished Niagara Falls, 1969. Niagara Falls, one of the most famous natural wonders, almost disappeared in 1969. Engineers temporarily blocked the flow of water to carry out work. The blockage raised concerns that the falls might not recover, especially due to the risk of erosion. After the repairs, the water flow was restored, and the falls once again became a powerful symbol of nature. If they had not resumed their flow, we could have lost one of the world's main attractions. The almost canceled Internet, 1969. The Internet as we know it today began with the ARPANET project, designed to transmit data between universities. However, its fate was in jeopardy even before it was launched. The project initially faced strong resistance within the U.S. Department of Defense. Leaders considered it useless and expensive. Only the tenacity of a small group of engineers allowed the first network to be launched. Had the project been canceled, the development of the Internet could have been delayed for decades and perhaps even taken an entirely different path. Near-fatal eruption of Mount St. Helens, 1980. The 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens in the United States was the largest in the country's history. The explosion killed 57 people, but there could have been many more. Geologists evacuated local residents and tourists days before the eruption based on alarming seismic data. Had the evacuation not taken place, the death toll would have been in the thousands, as the explosion destroyed vast areas. Almost launched smallpox epidemic in the USSR, 1971. In 1971, a case of smallpox was recorded in Moscow, brought in by a traveler. The epidemic could have spread to the entire city and beyond. Thanks to the prompt actions of Soviet doctors, mass vaccination and strict quarantine were carried out. This prevented a mass outbreak of the disease. If measures had been taken later, the consequences could have been catastrophic. London almost vanished, 1666. The Great Fire of London in 1666 destroyed much of the city, but it could have been worse. The fire could have spread to the gunpowder stores, causing a huge explosion. Thanks to the dedication of firefighters and residents, the fires near the edges of these stores were extinguished. London could have been wiped off the face of the earth if this had not been possible. The near death of Apollo 13, 1970. The Apollo 13 space mission suffered an onboard disaster when an oxygen tank exploded during the flight to the moon. The astronauts found themselves in a life-or-death situation. The crew used the lunar module as an escape pod and developed an ingenious solution to filter out carbon dioxide. If the astronauts and NASA engineers had not shown ingenuity, the crew could have died and the U.S. space program would have been in jeopardy. Almost forgotten genius Van Gogh. Today, Vincent van Gogh's paintings are valued at millions of dollars, but he sold only one painting during his lifetime. After his death, his work almost disappeared from cultural heritage. Van Gogh's brother, Theo, and his widow, Joanna, made great efforts to popularize his work. They organized exhibitions and distributed paintings to collectors. If it were not for their persistence, Van Gogh might have remained an unknown artist. The almost canceled first manned spaceflight, 1961. Yuri Gagarin's flight could have been canceled due to numerous technical problems and uncertainty in preparation. At the last moment before the launch, engineers discovered a fuel leak and managed to fix the problem. If the launch had been canceled, the USSR would have lost a unique chance to become the first country to send a man into space. Almost destroyed Venice, 1966. In 1966, a severe flood inundated Venice, putting the city on the brink of destruction. The flood damaged historic buildings, bridges, and works of art. Only thanks to the efforts of the international community and restorers was it possible to save the unique cultural and historical value of the city. If the work had not begun in time, Venice could have been lost to the world. The almost lost dinosaur, 1860s. In the mid-19th century, the first dinosaur skeleton that would become the basis for studying these ancient creatures was almost destroyed. The fossils discovered in England were in danger of being destroyed because their scientific value was underestimated. Only thanks to the enthusiasm of paleontologist Richard Owen were the remains saved. If they had not been found, our understanding of evolution could have been significantly delayed. Almost canceled YouTube, 2005. YouTube, created in 2005, almost closed due to a lack of users in the first months. The platform's founders almost gave up, but decided to add the ability to upload videos with any topic, not just romantic ones. This was a turning point. If they hadn't made this move, the world would have lost one of the most popular platforms for content. Almost completed water-powered engine, 1960s. In the 1960s, American inventor Stanley Meyer claimed to have developed an engine that ran on water. This technology could completely change the world's energy balance and reduce dependence on oil. Meyer claimed that his invention used electrolysis of water to create gas that could be used as fuel. However, his patents and research were questioned, and many accused him of fraud. In 1998, the inventor died suddenly, leaving his project unfinished. If the technology had been viable, it could have revolutionized energy, changing the course of history. The nearly destroyed Large Hadron Collider, 2008. In 2008, the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, the world's largest particle physics facility, began operations but encountered serious problems that could have permanently halted the project. Shortly after launch, a cooling system malfunctioned, causing a helium leak and damaging the equipment. It took over a year and millions of dollars to fix the problem. If the problem had been unsolvable, the scientific world could have lost a key tool for studying the fundamental laws of the universe. The LHC, in turn, played a major role in the discovery of the Higgs boson, which proved the existence of the God particle,